So with Wimbledon over for another year, we had a lot of changes in the rankings, not just for the top 10, but a lot of players outside the top 10, because of course, on the women's side of the tournament, we had a lot of upsets at Wimbledon. On the men's side of things, not too many upsets, but some big changes still in the top 10. Let's have a look at who actually won Wimbledon last week. So starting on the women's side, of course, it was Swiatek, winning in straight sets against Anisimova, 6-love, 6-love, which was historic in itself for her to win, not just Wimbledon, but also in that fashion. And then on the men's side, we had Jannik Sinner taking out Alcaraz, 4-6, 6-4, 6-4, 6-4 to avenge his loss to Alcaraz at the French Open. And both players got a nice boost in the rankings points because of it. All right, let's have a look at the players outside the top 10 on the women's side that went up in the rankings. Starting with Belinda Bencic. She goes up into number 20 in the world, 15 spots higher than last week after having a great week at Wimbledon. Pavlyuchenkova goes up 20 spots to number 30 in the world. And Sigemund, she goes up 50 spots to number 54 in the world after making a great run at Wimbledon. So, some players there that benefited from all the upsets that were happening at Wimbledon on the women's side. Players that went down to the rankings who did well last year but couldn't defend those points. Putin Saber, she's 43 in the world, went down 10 spots after losing a lot of points this week. Donna Vekic made the semi-finals last year and she went down 27 spots, number 52 in the world. And the defending champion, Krejcikova, she went down 61 spots to number 77 in the world after losing all the points that she made from winning the title last year. Going over to the men's side of things, the players that went up in the rankings. Kaboli, he goes up to number 19, which is a career high for him, 5 spots higher than last week after making the quarterfinals of his first slam. Cam Norrie, he goes up to number 43 in the world, 18 spots higher than last week after having a great run at Wimbledon. And Fonseca, into the top 50 for the first time. He's up 6 spots, number 48 in the world after having a decent run at Wimbledon as well. So some players there gaining enough points to get them up the rankings. Players that went down to the rankings on the men's side. Pirikar, he went down 9 spots, number 45 in the world after losing in the first round of Fritz this year. Batista Agut, he went down 12 spots, number 54 in the world. And Tabilo, he drops out of the top 100 going to 102, 18 spots lower than last week. So some players there that just couldn't defend the points on the men's side, dropping down the rankings. All right, let's have a look on the women's side of things because we had some very interesting results after Wimbledon, but no change at the top with Sabalenka at 1 and Gauff at number 2. But Swiatek, she goes up 1 spot to number 3 after winning the title of Wimbledon, pushing Pegula down to number 4. Andreeva goes up 2 spots to number 5 with Zhang staying at 6. Anisimova comes into the top 10 for the first time at number 7, 5 spots higher than last week. Keys comes in at number 8. Paolini dropped down to number 9 after losing all the points from this time last year. And Badosa rounds out the top 10 with Navarro falling out of the top 10 completely. So, a lot of changes there, and of course you'd expect that after a Grand Slam, but because of all the upsets, we had a lot of radical changes to the top 10. Going over the race of the finals now, and again, no change at the top with Sabalenka still at 1, but Swiatek, she goes up 1 spot to number 2, pushing Gauff down to number 3 after winning Wimbledon, of course. Keys, the Australian Open champion, still at number 4 with Andreeva at 5. But Anisimova, she goes up to number 6, which is 4 spots higher than last week, pushing Pegula down to 7. Paolini goes down to number 8. Raducanu down to number 9, and Svitolina rounds out the top 10 for the race of the finals. But we do have Sabalenka, who has qualified for the WTA Finals, even though she hasn't won a Grand Slam. So it just shows how good she's been consistently this year. And then, of course, they've got Swiatek, Gauff, and Keys who have won the Slam. So it'll be interesting to see who actually does qualify over the next couple of weeks because we are going to start seeing players qualify for the end of the year finals. Going over the men's side of things now, and no change at the top with Sinner at 1 and Alcaraz at 2. Zverev stays at number 3, but we did have a change in the middle of the top 10 with Fritz going up 1 spot to number 4, pushing Draper down to number 5 after Fritz made the semi-finals of Wimbledon. Djokovic, he stays at number 6 with Musetti at 7. Rune stays at number 8. Medvedev drops out of the top 10 completely, making way for Shelton, who goes up to number 9. And Rublev, he's back into the top 10 after a couple of weeks out of the top 10. He goes up to number 10 in the world, which is 4 spots higher than last week. So, because we didn't have that many upsets on the men's side, there weren't too many changes to the rankings, but some of the players that did well last year, like Medvedev, he dropped down really far in the rankings. So, not as crazy as on the women's side, but still, some big changes. And of course, the points are the thing that matters the most, with Sinner extending his lead over Alcaraz. Going over the race of the finals now, and no change up the top with Alcaraz staying at 1 and Sinner at 2. But we did have a lot of changes outside of that, with Djokovic going up 3 spots into number 3, pushing Zverev down to number 4. Draper goes down to number 5, with Musetti going down number 6. Fritz, he goes up to number 7. Shelton goes up to number 8. Rude, he gets pushed down to number 9. Demonor goes down to number 10, with Paul and Rune dropping out of the top 10 completely. So, both Shelton and Fritz gained a lot of points, and Djokovic gained a lot of points, having good runs at Wimbledon, making it to the quarterfinals and semifinals. And they've put themselves well and truly in the race to the finals now, and especially going to American season and the hardcourt season again. We're going to start seeing some players qualify, not just Alcaraz, who did qualify by making it to the final here. So there you have it. A lot of things to talk about after a Grand Slam and a lot of changes to the rankings, especially the race to the finals. Now that we're 3 slams down, there's only a big tournament, well, one big tournament left, but a lot of little big tournaments as well, like the 1,000 events that are coming up soon. So it's going to be interesting to see if we start getting more players qualify on the ATP and WTA finals. But let me know in the comments below. How'd you find Wimbledon overall? Did you like the event? Did you not like the event because it was too many upsets or maybe too predictable on the men's side? How'd you like the finals as well? Because we did kind of have bit polar opposite finals, with Swiatek winning easily and Sinner causing a bit of an upset, I guess, against Alcaraz in that final. Maybe not, though. But there it is. Wimbledon's over, and the rankings are starting to take some real shape.